Hello, welcome to Studio One. If you like what you see, like and subscribe and comment.
Hey, what's up?
Finally, yo, what do you say?
Real, brother. How you been?
Good, year wrapping up. I'm pretty excited to just, take a breather for the next week or so. But no,
Hey, I
I'm
feel
great,
that.
man.
Yeah, I've been seeing you going around this whole year, so I mean, I definitely know you've been busy. So
Man, it's crazy. You got to think about it. This is like the first time we're actually like interacting over like,
anything, bro.
yeah,
It's honestly been years. Just like after you like about Ruby and like just even when you were from the site, I'm like, damn, bro. We really know each other for a good couple of years and not even seeing each other's face.
that
Like
yeah, it was
nothing.
I think it was like late 2018 on
Yeah,
KTT. Like, yeah, it's like we're going into 2021.
yeah, bro. The growth has been real, and honestly, it's been cool just like keeping connection, just like very subtly like that, and just like grow into something very real. So I could definitely appreciate that.
All right. But yeah, man. Before we even get to the music and everything, with where you are in Houston, how's like COVID been, quarantine, kind of living through that?
It's been a little different because Texas has been like, I guess the people like governing around it in different cities have been just treating it very differently. Like I don't know if you know like what's going on over here. At least like in Texas, they're very like high in cases, so it's like kind of like Florida where they're like they really don't enforce it too much, so it's
Yeah.
just like rapidly just like keeps going up and up and up, and they're kind of just wondering why, but it's just like they're not kind of doing the right things they need to do. So it's just a situation that whenever they really like buckle down, it's gonna be handled, but they're kind of just like, all right, we could go to the beach today if
Yeah.
that's okay, or have a cookout. So that's
We've
kind of just
we've dropped the ball. I think like
yeah.
we're
At
going
least
we're
Florida
going on
did.
full lockdown, or like the whole province. So yeah, I don't know.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
forgot y'all had actual lockdowns over there. Here it was just like voluntary, and they were just like new
Yeah.
pop. So, but I mean, that must have been crazy. Like, did y'all couldn't go outside at all or anything like that? Or
Yeah. Way back in March, it was like no one. It was like a ghost town, and now
wow.
it's kind of like the same thing, and it's like it's
Mm.
pretty surreal. I haven't been down in downtown Toronto since March, or like taken a bus, or like been on a
Wow.
subway, like because I live uptown, which is
Mm.
like maybe like an 30-minute drive away from like real downtown.
Oh, okay, okay.
But usually I go downtown to like see a show, concerts, friends live downtown. But I haven't
Mm.
been since March. It's
That's
wild.
crazy,
Yeah.
bro. Because like, I mean, other people telling me like stories like you're telling me, and I'm just like, man, like, I guess it's just like everyone's different experience. Because like for me here, it's like out of like in the beginning, like it was like I really felt it too, but it wasn't like even as bad as what other people were saying. Like some
Yeah.
people like had everything closed. Like I mean, at some point everything closed here, but like I think for like that March to like April, like once that like beginning period, like nobody knew what's going on. After like that whole period, it was like you said, you didn't go on buses over there. I was like, I remember people just going to bars and people being
Yeah,
on
it's
buses
crazy.
like a month and a half, like 2 months later. So it was like people are saying all these stories about like, man, I can't do all this stuff, and we're just like out going to gyms and like at bars. So I'm just like, that's why like, some people are like, how come you don't understand? Like everything around me is just it looks. People are saying it's bad, but it still looks kind of normal.
Yeah.
So it's like if I was over there, I'd probably understand.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, man. Before we even like really get to it, too, let me just for the viewers, I guess we should just introduce
Uh,
ourselves. So this platform, Studio One, name is Jibril Osman. The whole point of the platform is putting artists on. Whether it's in my own city, whether it's around the world. It's the whole point is just conversation. And me and you would go a way back, but for the viewers that don't know you, can you briefly, introduce yourself, and then we'll get started.
okay. I'm Kyba Morales. Real name Adrian Santana. Pretty much I've known Jibril since late 2018, ever since I showed him Ruby, and we just kind of been cool since then. From Houston, Texas, I pretty much make hip hop, pop, alternative, a little bit of dream pop, and ever my latest project comes out next week, the 28th, 29th, so excited about that.
Go, man. I remember way back you kind of told me you like moved around a lot when you were younger, and then I guess
Yeah.
you settled on Houston. Talk about like moving around and the artists that you listened to when you're younger.
Well, I was originally born in New York. After like 7 or 8, like my parents pretty much lived downtown where 9/11 happened, so they were like, let's get out of there. Moved to Florida at 13. No, at like 7. I left Florida when I was like 13. But I remember like the scene in Florida. That's what I really got into like actual music because my parents were like really religious, so they were like they. I don't know if you remember the old iPod commercial where it's like the black figures and it had the white.
Yeah, that was yeah.
Yeah, they saw that and they were like, "Oh, you can't. You're never gonna get one." So I was like, "Man, I just wanted music so bad." And the first song I ever heard on the radio was "Gold Digger" by Kanye, and I was like, "Oh, this is crazy."
Yeah.
And then I heard like "Confessions" by Usher, and I just heard like that whole wave, and I was like, "Oh, this is nuts!" And being in the South it just is so different, like how people react to like R&B and just like more like hip hop and stuff like that. So that was a really cool experience. After like 13, went to Colorado. I wasn't even really into hip hop then. I was more like into like Fall Out Boy, Gorillaz,
Yeah.
My Chemical Romance, and that's really what influenced me. Like I think my freshman year, what really like changed me to even think about making music or anything is when I heard 808s and Heartbreak. And when I heard that and Man on the Moon one, I was like, yeah, I didn't know rap could be like that. I was like, oh, you could do that too. Like, maybe I should try to do that one day. So those are like definitely like the albums for me that like I hold close. Watch the Throne, because the internet. Um, and shortly after that, honestly, to be honest, I finished high school, moved down to Texas, and I just kind of was like in a really bad funk because everyone I had like been growing around for like 7, 8 years, like middle school, high school, just totally left. And I was like, man, I don't know what to do in my life. And pretty much I had like $120 and I bought this like super terrible laptop. Like I could not take it off the power cord. I couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
I ripped FL Studio and I was just like, let's see how this goes. And from there, it's just, I was locked myself in there, like probably did like a Kanye make 3 beats a day type thing. And I guess it wasn't really to just show. It was just like, oh, let's see how fun this could be. And now we're here pretty much. Like I just kind of like took on that challenge of producing, and then I was like, well, maybe I could rap. Then I learned how to rap, and I was like, well, maybe I could sing. And I'm kind of just on that still. But I think just the whole progression of art, just really seeing yourself grow. I kind of take that JPEG line. It's like they're seeing you, not even your product. They're just really investing in who you actually are and what you could actually bring to the table.
Yeah. Before we get into the music, like songs and recording things, that let's go to the production side. What beat or what type of like instrumental did you make for yourself, and you were like, okay, I think I figured something out? What was the first time you felt like FL Studio was actually working for you?
Like for me, like to personally rap on it, or like the first beat I like made and I was like, oh, this is working.
That like it's working, because I know it had to have taken a while for you to.
Yeah. It definitely took I think there was a song. It's not even anywhere anymore. It was called "The Rainforest on Mars" or something. It was like very weird, and I did like these very obscure drums and everything. And I was like, "This is a really weird song. I don't know what to do." And somehow, I don't even know how, I found like a new Paul's like email, like Jai Paul's whole brother's email, and I was like, you know what? I'll take a long shot and I'll send it to him. Yeah. And I was like, I guess I was expecting more, so I was like, oh, maybe he'll like it, I'll do all that. But he sent me like some feedback back, which was even better. He was like, oh, I really like these drums, keep going. And for him to just do that, it really like fueled the fire for me to just be like, wow, I'm just gonna keep doing experimental stuff, like make crazy drums. Like I think for me it was always about like the drums, and then the melody came. Like I'm more obsessed with melody now, but I feel like if I hear like a good like drum roll, if I hear like a good sample, I'm like, oh, it had to put that on there.
Yeah. And then going from production to going on locally on your own production, when did you decide to make the switch? Was it the idea of, I know you sent the track and got amazing feedback, but for you, were you like, I have all these beats, I might as well indulge in it, I guess? Is that where you were looking at it?
Actually, like really before I had shown you anything or I meant anything, I was really I still have it on my SoundCloud. I have like this whole instrumental like beat tape, and I guess like this whole time I was really going through like a weird time in my life, and I was gonna record that and put that out. while I was there and really like show pretty much everybody. Some stuff happened, and I pretty much was about to like move out of my place, and I was kind of like feeling. I think in the beginning of the year when I was gonna record the project, I wasn't vocally courageous, and then before I left, I was like, I was going through a bad part of my life, and I was like, I'm
Yeah.
gonna risk. I'm just gonna do anything. So that's why like it was like a mix between like yeah, I had a lot of beats, but I think whenever I showed you like Ruby and everything, it was like more. I think I made that very recently because more in the situation was going on. So I was like, yeah, I had all these beats and I wanted to do something with it, but the way I was feeling, I was like, I just need to go with what I'm gonna make. This encapsulates the time right now, and if I can't do that other stuff, then I guess it wasn't meant to be.
Yeah. And then going into like the projects that you made, prior to this new one that's coming out, how did you jump into those ones, and how did you like connect with Tanner, who was a part of Ponderosa and things like that? How do you guys collaborate and work together and make these projects prior to this new one?
Pretty much, like for the first project, it was like kind of some very beginner stuff. We didn't really know how to jump into it. It's like we had already had plans of doing all these other projects, but we never actually started doing one. So we're like, all right, let's just go like to the wall with it. Let's just try anything. So
Yeah.
it was very homey. Like it was, we had just moved into a new place. So we're like, we're still figuring things out. And I think it really, it really encapsulated like a moment, us being there. And we, on that one, we worked a lot closer together. Like we were like a lot more visually artistic, like musically, just like hand in hand. And for the second project, it was a lot more different because it was like that sophomore feeling. Like even though we hadn't really got any accolades or anything like that, there's like okay, this is our second project. We gotta come back. We gotta come back hard. And we did it very differently. Like I think I handled more music, and he handled more visuals.
Yeah.
But I think the way we work together is just I like for Rainbow's Ink, like he did most of the production on it. I think I probably did like 20%. Like we just like really take each other's ideas and like whenever he made that, I was like asleep. He woke me up with the beat, and I was like, man, what is this? And then like I ended up putting like some bass over it, and I kind of tweaked it a little bit, and I was like, I'm still not feeling it. And then we kind of just really push it. Like he sees something in me, and he'll tell me that, and that's whenever we first started working together, it was like, oh, maybe he's kind of like attacking like an ego or like maybe
Yeah.
saying something personal. But once you get past all that, it's really just like, look, I see this, and if you can get there, then this is like something better. And when he showed me that, I was like, oh, this is the act. This is Rainbow's Ink. This is a song. Like this isn't just a beat. So really, a lot of it, like this new project's a little bit different. I handled it a lot more myself, but I think more in the past with the better results, we saw that okay, let's give and take with like even visuals. Like I'm not really good at designing stuff, but I'm like, hey, you should get a different angle. Maybe you should change this color up, or maybe you should change this texture, and pretty much that's how we get to like where we are.
Yeah. And going to this new project, you released Transpotting, the video and things like that. How did you guys gauge that in the visuals and making that? Because I know it's colorful, it's well put together and things like that. How did you guys go into that?
Um, we kind of just wanted to make something that really felt like was due, and due was like very colorful, like even just the cover and just like all the songs are very like vibrant. And I was like, I think we should try something like that. And the whole 3 screen thing didn't really happen until the end, because what really was gonna happen was we were just gonna release like 3 different alternate videos, and we were just gonna like, all right, this happened. So it was really just a recording process of like a year. Like my brother helped record some, Tanner helped record some, and we just like got all this footage of just different ideas up until like I think like 2 months ago we had even shot like the last final shots of everything and to get the last ideas. So I think with that one, when we finished the first version, we had some footage that was almost there but not enough, and then we put it aside and we're like, let's do this project and we'll come back to it, and it just came along very naturally, honestly.
And then of course, like you've done in the past, we're just sending your music out there. You DM Frank Ocean, you got a nice heart cosign. Are you still gassed about that?
Yeah, for real. I honestly, it was just like super random, and I don't know. I'm just happy that it happened, to be honest.
Sure, man. And now when it comes to like projects and things like that, considering you have one coming out next week, are you already like, I'm gonna drop after I got music after things like that, or are you just gonna enjoy this release? How are you feeling just right now prior to it coming out?
It's like a mix. Like I kind of want to, but I'm like a very hard worker in a very weird way. Like even like a week before I have to finish it, like I'm already thinking like I want to just start whole new projects and all this stuff. So like I don't know. I have like a plan for the EPs, like a time schedule and everything. But I think what I want to do right now is just kind of like a mix of it. Maybe just enjoy it, mix some beats here and there, and just I think it's just when you work on something for so long, sometimes you don't like enjoy the flowers, and I think I should just sit back for a little bit, at least see it for a second.
For sure. Now going back to the first things that we talked about on KT and things how did you get yourself involved into that community? I think for me it was I can't even honestly remember. I know it was KT1, like the first one, and it was years ago, maybe like 2014 when I made my blog, maybe around there. But I don't remember when I got involved. Why did you get involved? And talk about how like hard it is to like put your music on there because people are so harsh to everyone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like people that don't know, KTT is just a community of like not just Kanye fans, but pretty much like one of the biggest internet forum communities. And I definitely do feel you on the part where like people not being so accessible and like being so kind, because I mean KTT2 is a lot better. Like everyone's cool, they're friendly.
Yeah.
KTT1 was like a war zone. It was like if you ever posted in the music section, it was like go back to creative. Like no one would, no feedback at all. It would just turn me every time. So why did I get in there? Honestly, I think I found it randomly. I'm trying to remember where I found it.
Even I can't remember.
Yeah, like all I know is like I found it, I got on there, and I was like, wait, there's other like the producer chat back then was offhand. Like now it's like you can't post links. Like I remember on there we used to post links to like torrents and everything, and then
then they banned it.
Like they're like, no, you can't do that anymore. So I was there back then. The reason I guess was just I was just trying to get into something that was very new. That was just like, all right, this isn't like Twitter or Facebook or anything. Like this is just very different. And I saw things that I wanted to get out of that too, where it's just like maybe I just wanted to talk about just Childish Gambino, and there's not really a place to do that on Twitter. There's not like groups or anything that just talk about specific things. So I got into that, and getting into stuff like that helped me get into like the producer chat, where I just got actual software for when I was first starting off, and just really great advice to just keep going, to be honest. So honestly, I love KTT that just found me because it gave me so many connections to just anything.
No, honestly, me too, man. It's crazy because like Brockhampton came from KTT, and yet even to this day, when people put their music on the forums, it's the same like troll. That's why I love it, to be honest. It's just funny the way people react to things.
For real, bro. Like, and they're just saying like, oh, they still have like secret accounts and stuff like that. And I'm just like, it's so cool just for like people just think I like have that whole thing where it's like, yeah, this guy is this person in KTT the whole time. It's just like you never really honestly know.
Exactly. But yeah, man, where you are now musically, how would you, describe yourself, in terms of traveling and, earlier in, in your life and things like that. And finally, kind of in the past couple of years, you've been releasing music. How do you feel where you are now? Do you feel confident, like, for the following year, 2021 so close? Do you feel like you're where you should be?
I think I'm coming into form. I think it's like the perfect, like, transition. I think 2020 was like a perfect year for me because I realized that even though there was like a lot going on in the world, that there was still like a lot going on within me as well. So I still need to take a step back from everything. And right now I feel like it's just like a very transitional period where it's like I'm ending the first half of the concept, like all these things are just happening in my life. So it's just right now I feel like I'm very confident, and it feels like I'm just floating into something else that's just going to put me just more elevated to where I was.
And going into this idea of 2021, are there certain things, everybody has their, New Year's resolution, for you, what are some things for you being as an artist? So what are some things you want to like check off next year? Are you still looking to release, EPs? Are you thinking about the idea of an album, or trying to figure out shows whenever that kind of comes back? What are some like things you would like to do next year? You know, hopefully if things go back to normal, I guess.
I would definitely want to start doing some shows. So that would definitely be really cool. To be honest, anywhere. um, I want to start doing more collaborations, like actually producing for people. Get like my first actual blog placements, and honestly, just see if I could even do like a meet tour, maybe hop on with somebody, or just I'm really just open to just anything. Like of course, I'm trying to finish the next two concept EPs for the project as a goal, and two. So maybe the next one, like maybe two, won't come out the next year, maybe 2022. But I do have like plans for like a bunch of singles, a lot more videos, just a lot of different situations, to be honest. So I think it's just gonna be really exciting. Like I have like my whole like whiteboard over here with like actual like listing goals. Like I could just go off on telling you everything. So I just like keep it short and sweet, to be honest.
You know, usually when I get to like the final question, I would ask an artist, kind of on the same vein that we're doing, you know, upcoming shows, what's next, and all things that, you know, but COVID kind of stopped all of that. So for the most part, I usually just ask like an artist like kind of a unique question to them to kind of end it off. So for you, you know, kind of really early on in your career, you know, what's the hardest thing about being an artist early on in your career, and what's kind of the best thing about being an artist for you?
That is a good question. I think one of the best things, like one of the things I don't like might be like maybe when you make something and you feel like you deserve a little bit more recognition, or maybe just at least someone tell me like, hey, I really appreciate this. Like, I mean, you know, I do, but I mean, at a certain point, you want people to just be like, this is good. Like, you don't need to like be melting your skull over this, but if you just like appreciate, like, oh, this is a good time. Like, I appreciate this. Like, blah blah blah. Like, I'll appreciate that. One of the things that I do, another thing I do appreciate was maybe, what's it called? More time to just work on the actual craft itself, you know?
Yeah.
So I feel like a lot more major artists, like if you're not someone like J.K. or Chanel Tress or someone who's like very experienced with the production, it's like, I feel like either they're getting beats from someone or it's just like they're just picking something that sounds very generic. So I feel like now in my area, like I could just spend more time. I could just, you know, do different types of things and I don't have to be blocked by anything. Maybe if I sign later on, I can't make this type of beat because it doesn't sound like this, or I can't do this because it doesn't fit with that. So I think right now is just the ultimate freedom to just be like an amateur and just be free with like my concept and just try everything, because I think right now is just showing people what I could do. Like, I don't think this is, you know, set in stone. I feel like I definitely do a lot better, but I just need to show people what is out there, what available, what Kyba can offer.
Cool, man. Again, you know, finally connecting over, you know, Zoom of all things. But yeah, man, like 2018, I think.
Yeah, bro. Like I still remember like August, September. I really want to come out there too, to Canada, at least this year. But
I was in Houston for like what felt like 9 hours, like
really?
like 2019, I think. Remember, like,
oh yeah, I remember I was like, let's meet up, and you're like, I have to go tomorrow. I was like, damn, terrible.
But yeah, man, again, finally connecting. First thing I noticed on your music that I really liked was the production. That was the first thing I'm like, well, this is crazy. And I'm glad, you know, we've kept in contact. I'm glad, you know, you've kept doing the music. I'm glad I've kept, you know, working on all the things I do. Early congratulations on this new EP coming out.
Thank you.
And I'm sure, you know, this isn't going to be the last time we connect. Hopefully, it's not over Zoom and it's in person somehow.
Yeah, for real. We're definitely going to catch up, my friend. Definitely.
Again, man, you know, enjoy the rest of the day. Music is great. Great to finally connect. Later. Later, man.
Studio One.